Neil Harbisson is the world's first official cyborg.
Instead of seeing color, I can hear color. This is the sound of purple.
Neil is colorblind, but this antenna implanted in his head lets him hear and feel color.
To me, this is the art, the creation of a new sense. There's many more colors around us that we cannot perceive. For thousands of years, we've been changing and designing the planet. And I think this is wrong. In order to live in this planet, we should start changing and designing ourselves. In 2004, I was trying to renew my passport. They said that the antenna had to be removed because electronic equipment is not allowed on passport photos. I replied saying that the antenna was not an electronic device, but an organ, and I told them that I identified as a cyborg.
After a long battle with the UK passport office, they finally accepted his explanation. And from then on, Neil's been considered the first person to be officially recognized as a cyborg. Neil was born with achromatopsia, meaning he sees the world in grayscale. He's never seen color, and he doesn't know what color looks like.
As a child, I became extremely obsessed with color and understanding what it was. Doctor said it was impossible, so I had to find a way of creating a system that would allow me to sense colors. I looked at nature and I saw that there's many species that have organs that we don't have. One of them is an antenna.
So for the last 16 years, he's been hearing and feeling color through his antenna. The sensor on the end detects color and translates the light frequency to a chip in the back of his head. Each color has a different vibration, and thus a different note ringing in his head. So when the antenna senses yellow, this is what it sounds like. As you might expect, having a chip and an antenna implanted in your head is an invasive and very elective procedure. For Neil and other biohackers, finding a doctor willing to do these kinds of surgeries is a serious impediment. Neil's doctor remains anonymous. He hasn't revealed who was involved or how it was done, because that doctor runs the risk of losing their medical license. Fortunately for Neil, the surgery was successful and didn't pose any complications. But having an antenna sticking out of your head has just taken a little getting used to. Neil says he's adjusted quickly. It's everyone else who needs to catch up.
It's been so long that I don't really think about the antenna anymore. You don't usually think about your nose every day or your eyes. But what really changed is I had to get used to social reaction. Only people remind me that I have an antenna. In 2004, most people thought it was a reading light. In 2008, people thought it was a GoPro cam that I was filming my life. In 2012 and 13, many people thought I had something to do with Google Street View.
And it's not surprising that some people are taken aback by the antenna. It looks striking. Biohackers who have obvious body modifications often get second looks, and sometimes it's outright hostility.
Well, I lost my job. I was a waiter, and they said I couldn't continue serving people with an antenna in my head. So I had to find jobs where I would work alone, like delivering the paper or cleaning jobs. I did jobs that I could do without anyone seeing me. It's interesting because it's a social experiment as well to see how society perceives unknown technology.
Neil views his antenna as more than just compensating for his lost sense. His vision is to use it as an art project to help those who may feel uneasy about this see life through his eyes.
When you have a new sense, you can also express yourself through music or in art. I can now, for example, create paintings of what I hear, so I can paint music or I can paint people's voices. Or I can also do the opposite and create music from color, so I can look at someone's face and write down the sound of the face and create a musical chord specifically to that face. So I call them sound portraits. When I look at someone, I hear their face.
And he's turning famous speeches into colorful pieces of art by corresponding the inflections of someone's voice to the tone he feels in his head when that color is sensed by his antenna.
I'm not surprised that many people feel lost and unable to decide what to hold on to and what to discard.
For more than 30 years, The science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away?
Neil has created a community of cyborg artists in Barcelona to help others extend their senses by using technology as part of their body and become more in touch with the world around them. Neil understands why some people might give him a second look, and he's okay with that. He thinks this is just the start of a world filled with cyborgs.
I think if we can create night vision, for example, that will be a huge step for us, because we won't be spending energy creating artificial light. Or if we can create organs that allow us to change our own temperature, we won't use heaters or air conditioning. So instead of changing the temperature of the planet, we can start changing our own temperature. To me, it's important that we reconnect with nature and with other species, because I feel that we've been a species that have isolated ourselves and created this bubble. And I think we should start breaking this bubble, and that's a way of doing it.
Thanks for watching. For more stories about people that are hacking their bodies, subscribe to Freethink now.